Hello and welcome to the PHNX D-backs podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as the mayor of PHNX. And of course, I am joined by my vice mayor, my bench coach, the one and only Thunderstick, Jesse Friedman. Jesse, how
Derek,
you doing today?
It's good to be with you. It is.
Excellent.
I'm doing great. I'm excited to chat with Jeff Bannister here in a couple minutes.
Yes, we have a big guest on today. I can't wait to get him in here. First, I wanted to just remind everybody that this show is brought to you by the Draftkings Sportsbook app. Go download the Draftkings Sportsbook app now. Use our code of PHNX, and for betting $5 on any NFL team to win, you will get $200 in free bets should that team win. And yes, Jesse, I'm thrilled to welcome in a guy with a wealth of knowledge, somebody that's been around baseball and just an incredible person in this game, Jeff Banister, the Arizona Diamondbacks new bench coach. Jeff, well, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I can't tell you how excited we are to have you.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. It's I can't be more excited about joining the D-backs. It's been a whirlwind of a couple of weeks, but I'm excited to get working, and let's see if we can't turn some things around for the D-back fans.
Yes, we're all excited for that. I guess my first question is, as an outsider, what's kind of your assessment of this team? I know obviously this year wasn't a great year to really assess, but from afar, what were kind of your thoughts on the Arizona Diamondbacks?
Yeah, you know what? I watch the games. It's hard when you're in a game this long. It's hard to get away from it. I was able to catch a lot of the games. I talked to a lot of people inside the industry, and look, this is a position player wise. It's full of some young, very athletic, talented players who are only going to get better every rep, every game. Their knowledge of the big leagues is going to allow them to get better. Their comfortability with the league is going to allow them to get better. But look, they're very athletic. You got some guys that can play multiple positions, and in today's game, that's so valuable. They run the bases well. They've got a lot of speed. So, and on the pitching staff, I think you got a mix of some veteran players like Bumgarner, who I know can help teach some of these young guys how to pitch, what it's like, how to battle. I know that the bullpen had some question last year, but look, in today's game, those type of things can be fixed fairly quickly, depending on which way you want to go. You see that bullpens get turned over very quickly, but look, they're not a 52-win team. It is. That was a record. However, I think the commitment to allowing a lot of those young guys to play, go out, get comfortable with what the big leagues feels like, what's necessary every day, and then how do you learn to meet the demands of the game?
Jeff, it's great to have you on once again. We're super excited to have you. My first question for you, Jeff, is just a lot of Diamondbacks fans have heard about your background with the Texas Rangers, of course, right? They remember you. You won the American League Manager of the Year in your first season there. They're probably familiar with you from that. Just for our audience members who might not be, super familiar with you as a person, as a manager, as, the bench coach here in Arizona, who is Jeff Banister? How would you describe to fans of the Diamondbacks who they are getting as their new bench coach?
First, a very simple human being, really. Just I grew up in the locker room. My dad was a high school football coach in the state of Texas, so football runs deep in my blood. But I was a coach's son, so I've been in the locker room since I had diapers on, and I'm a very, very loyal, competitive human being. Loves the game of baseball. The game of baseball has brought me back to life a number of times. There's well-documented stories of, the bone cancer when I was young, the knee surgeries, ankle surgeries, broken neck when I was in college, all the comebacks. Went on to be drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates and still have the highest batting average, lifetime batting average in the
There it is.
So
there it is.
You go.
But listen, I've been a baseball lifer, a guy I've always thought of myself as a learner of the game, a quest and a thirst to learn the game at a high level. I've had some great teachers along the way. I would like to think that now my knowledge of the game goes all the way back to guys like Danny Murtaugh. I learned from Chuck Tanner and Jim Leland and Bill Mazeroski, Willie Stargell, Manny Sanguian, Tony La Russa. But I'd like to think that I'm also learning from guys that are new to the game as well. When I watch, guys like AJ Hinch manage games, we manage a lot of games. I've learned a lot of things from AJ. I've learned a lot of things from Torrey. I've learned a lot of things from Dave Roberts, guys that when you watch and you have a quest for learning how to lead athletes, how to motivate people, how to run a baseball game. So that never stops.
Yeah. And you brought up Torrey. I wanted to get your thoughts on Torrey Lovullo, just from your time knowing him and what your thoughts are on joining him as collaborators for this team now.
Well, first of all, I think I hope it's a great marriage.
Yeah.
What I mean by hope, you don't know until you get in the room, 24/7 with each other, and you're actually doing life. People don't realize how much time we actually spend together as coaches and players and teammates in the world of baseball.
It's a long season.
Oh my goodness,
it's a long season.
when you're at the ballpark at 10:30, 11 o'clock, and it's every single day, and you're there sometimes till 1:30 in the morning. You have to get on a plane, travel with each other. Well, Torrey, I'd like to think that Torrey and I moving in the same direction from different points of view. I'm going to wear my feelings out there. I'm going to show you just exactly who I am, what I think, how I think. It's well documented that I enjoy the game. I love to be in the game, excited about the game, and show players that excitement. Torrey's a little more stoic on that side, right? So I think that whole opposite side of things could work very well for each other, because it has a dynamic, the possibility of a dynamic to reach all players. And that's what I love about when Torrey and I first had our conversation. It was like, this is who I am. This is who you are. I think we have the ability to reach everybody with these two types of personalities. And that doesn't mean we're the only two. There's a whole other group of coaches that they've got to be able to connect as well. But I thought it was a great idea by Torrey. And also just he knows himself very well and what he needs in that dugout from a guy like me.
Yeah, for sure. We're big fans of Torrey over here, and Torrey is it's easy to say he's very nice, but my opinion is he's just a very genuine person. He's one of the most genuine people I've ever encountered at times. And I know at times it's hard, because as a baseball manager, obviously you need to keep certain things close to your vest and not reveal your entire game plan and other things like that. So, but Lovullo, I think, has always been just a very genuine person with us as the media, at least. So, but Jesse, I know you had another question.
Yeah, I was curious. I wanted to ask about what you've been up to this last season. I know that you took some time away from the Major League Baseball scene, and you've been working at the University of Northern Colorado as the director of player development. Everyone wants to ask you, Jeff, how is being a MLB manager, how has that prepared you for this new role with the Diamondbacks? I want to ask you, how is your job this year at the University of Northern Colorado? How has this prepared you for what you're about to take on this next season with the D-backs?
Probably
you know
closer.
What? Hey, listen, first of all, yes, I took a year away. And had an opportunity to kind of decompress a little bit. digest 35 years of Major League Baseball and reconnect with my family, my wife, my son, my daughter. They're the ones who sacrifice the most. So my son goes to school and plays baseball at University of Northern Colorado. I think I've got to watch him play a handful of high school baseball games. So when asked to come and volunteer and be the director of player development, which is a fancy title, might be one of the better titles I've ever had.
There you go.
But really, truly, it is the ability to connect with the college athlete. Some of these, every one of these guys have the dream, like I did when I was a young player, of playing in the big leagues.
Yep.
I don't know how many of these guys will actually ever see a major league field, but they have the heart and mind and the soul for it. They just may not have the skill set for it. But to walk out and just to be another coach on that field, and not the manager, not the bench coach, not the pitching coach, but a guy that can just sit down and have a conversation and maybe help a young athlete in something, yes, baseball, but outside of baseball. And I like to look at it this way: changing the world through baseball at the grassroots level. Here's a group of players that I can go connect with. I can teach them some baseball, give them some experiences from the major league side. But you know what they're giving me? They're enriching me with the ability to connect with a young group of athletes who are still dreaming. Because, when guys get to the big leagues, I mean, you've made it. There's some of that dream is still there. They want to be great players, become Hall of Famers. But the reality is these young guys, they still have those stars in their eyes and that dream. And it's so refreshing. I love showing up every day, hitting the fungo, throwing BP, and just having those conversations.
Yeah. And you seem to be somebody that connects with people in a lot of ways. I've noticed on social media that you're active on Twitter quite a bit. I like that. I'm a big Twitter guy. So I just want to get your thoughts on just kind of being on social media and connecting with people through that kind of medium, especially when I guess a lot of coaches in baseball and such tend to not really, participate in social media.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not afraid of it.
It's not a great place at times, but it's fun.
Oh, come on now. Hey, listen, you have no fans when you lose a game. When you bring a closer in and he gives it up, listen, it's my fault. And I take full responsibility, but some of those places on Twitter can get a little dark and deep, but
sure.
I'm not afraid of it. And I am. And listen, that goes back to when I was all the things I've been through in my life. And I watched my dad connect with athletes. I'd watch my dad connect with people. And well before social media, day he died, he asked me if I'd written everything down that I'd gone through in my life. And I said, Dad, why? He said, well, people are going to want to know. You have something to give back to people, and they're going to need it. And I never understood that. And then, here comes the social media platforms, and then it gives me an opportunity to do just that, to connect. There might be somebody that needs something today to help them get through whatever it is they've got going on in their life, right? Or it's just throw something out there to some young coach who is struggling with a challenging player. And I may put something out there that is going to spark them and give them something tangible they can hold on to. And the other thing too is that, we all know, I don't know if you guys have spent any time around Clint Hurdle, who is a larger than life human being. And one of the things that, he and I would go back and forth, and, we kind of met the same way Tori and I are going to interact. I became Clint's bench coach in Pittsburgh. And so I would always sign things off, dare to make a difference. And then I meet Clint, and here's a guy who would sign everything off, make a difference. And I thought to myself, there's two guys who think the same way, is that we have an opportunity to make a difference in people's lives. And I'll give you a story and this happens so often. I go to stadiums across America and I'll be out on the rail signing autographs and having conversation, and I'll see an elderly gentleman 2 or 3 rows back. And he's mirroring me as I'm walking along, and eventually he comes down to the rail. Doesn't want an autograph, but he'll tell me, he says, Jeff, I need to tell you thank you. And I'm like, okay. He says, because I can't thank your dad anymore. So social media, the Twitter, the Instagram, all the different platforms gives us an opportunity if we do it the right way.
I love that.
Try to make a difference, to dare to make a difference in other people's lives.
I love that. Jesse, did you have anything else, Jesse?
No, I think
Okay.
I think Jeff just dropped the mic on us. I don't think we can say anything else after that.
I'm inspired. I need to go out, and I was going to ask a funny, dumb topic, and I don't even feel like doing that now at this point.
Come on now, don't. Hey, come on.
I was going to get controversial on you. I was going to ask, do you put ketchup on your hot dogs? That's what I was going to ask.
Ketchup, mustard, relish, chili, cheese.
Attaboy.
Come on now. Growing up in Texas, you put the house on your hot dog.
There you go. Yes. I am of that camp. Thank you so much. Well, Jeff, we can't thank you enough for joining us, and we can't tell you how much we look forward to seeing you in the dugout this season and seeing what you can do with this team. Mike Hazen and Tori Lavello have been very adamant about this team looking towards, their future, looking towards their young players to develop them and make them, the next stars for this team. And Jesse and I think can both agree that we think you're the right man for the job to be a part of this.
Well, I appreciate that. And understand, I mean, it takes time.
Yes.
You guys know that.
Yeah.
I came from an organization, 21 years of losing, 21 years of losing. Right. And we were able to take a very similar group of players. Started in right about 2010, 2009. Clint came in. We got some things going. Eventually, National League MVP. Right?
Yes.
Absolutely. One of the baddest pitchers on the planet, and Garrett Cole.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The catching ninja and Russell Martin came along. We went out and got one of the bad boys of baseball, and AJ Burnett. Marte.
It was a really good team. Yeah.
Marte. And we were able to be patient enough, but yet develop an urgency, a quiet urgency, so that these guys knew what it meant, that winning means something. If winning didn't mean anything, why the hell do we celebrate? Right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
The patience, but this club reminded me a lot of some of the things in these athletes that I saw, in that Pittsburgh club. So I'm excited about it. It's why when Tori called me and said, "Hey, you want the job?" I said, "I'll walk to Arizona."
We'll come pick you up. Don't worry about it. We're going to make you walk.
All right, guys.
Well, Jeff, thanks again. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. We can't thank you enough.
Outstanding, guys. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a great night.
You too.
Well, Jesse, I don't know what else to say besides that was amazing. He's a tremendous individual. I mean, we already knew that we were going to have a fun time chatting with him, but talking to him about, the team and seeing how excited he is, it gets me jazzed. Here we are, one day after the World Series, and I'm somehow excited about this Arizona Diamondbacks team. One thing I personally feel with the hirings that they've made is, Hazen said they weren't going to go outside for external help as far as filling, positional needs, but they're almost bringing in an all-star coaching staff of sorts, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, they seem to have nailed it so far, Derek. I mean, Joe Mather, we got to hear from him too, not on this show, but just in the presser, and he's certainly impressed there. And Jeff Bannister is once again, Derek, I feel similarly talking with Jeff as I do with Tori, in a sense, where it is not common. Our audience should recognize it is not common. It is not a given that when the media speaks to a coach, that the coach genuinely is fully present and gives you their full attention.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Like that is not
Oh
a given.
It's not just not coaches, a given. Jesse, it's anybody. Trust me.
Oh, no.
This is a guy that does not get people's full attentions when he is interviewing them. I get that. I know that.
It is players. It is everyone. It is every person who has ever appeared on a media interview ever. Right. It is not a given that they are going to be fully present with you and fully available. And honestly, I think we could talk to Jeff Bannister for, we could have him on for an hour if we wanted to. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like we could go on for forever with that guy because he's so genuine and he's just there and he's present and, and he certainly is up for a conversation with anyone, right? Like he was talking about that random person in the audience at a game, right?
Man,
like
that was
someone
touching.
Who didn't know it all. That was an incredible story. Yeah. And I just love that the Diamondbacks have another person like that in their clubhouse, right? Torey Lovullo, we know, has been, fully present, fully himself for a number of years here. And he's got, a sidekick now who, in a very different way, right? I think they do complement each other. Jeff has a very different personality.
Very much so.
You know that he's going to be there for some of these young guys and he is going to motivate them and inspire them. And I'm just excited, Derek. How crazy is this? We're excited about Diamondbacks baseball on November 4th.
What?
After a 110 loss season.
I don't know what's
happening right now.
We can thank Jeff Bannister for that. We can definitely thank Jeff Bannister for that. Just a reminder to you guys, NFL fans, it doesn't matter what sport you're a fan of. Go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use our code of PHNX, and for betting $5 on any NFL game, you will get $200 in free bets should that team win. And now, mind you, again, that's for NFL, but there's NBA offers on there. There's all sorts of game props. There's all sorts of in-game, single game, same game parlays. I, of course, am Mr. Parlay. I need a hat to put on when I call myself that, but I love doing the same game parlays. I can't get away from them no matter what. Even when I bet on a team to win, I find myself instantly adjusting and going right over the same game parlays. It's just fun to add some of those other props and some of those other options. You just combine those bets for a bigger payout, and the more legs you add, the more money you can win. Don't go crazy. I had myself a 16-leg parlay the other day. I don't even know what I was thinking. You get out of control sometimes, Jesse. I don't know what to say.
What are the chances of landing a 16-leg parlay?
I don't know, but I bet $10 on it. If I would have won, it would have been like $2,000. How does that sound? It goes past a point where you're actually I feel like you're making a bet, and it's just a lottery at that point. Like anything can happen in sports, lottery, right? You can have all the information you want, and you can still lose, your parlay because the Giants decide to go for it in a blowout on a 2-point conversion that was completely unnecessary. No, I'm not petty or angry about that at all. But again, you guys can go on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use our code of PHNX once again for betting $5 on any NFL game or more. And as long as that team wins, you will get $200 in free bets. 21 and over only, Arizona only. Gambling problem, dial 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Jesse, do you put ketchup on your hot dog?
I do. I put ketchup and I put relish. I'm not a mustard guy. Not a mustard guy at all.
Here's the weird thing. I hate mustard on almost everything, but it belongs on a hot dog. Ketchup, mustard, onion, I'm good to go. I don't know. Sorry, I didn't mean to let you down there. I feel like I really set you up like we were on the same side for a moment and then just completely abandoned you. But the Diamondbacks do have quite a number of other coaching vacancies to fill. The other day that I think it was Nick Picoro asked about how many other vacancies he had to fill, and Lovola went through kind of a laundry list,
There's a lot. Yeah.
Coaches. So we still have a lot of news to break as far as the staff is concerned, and I kind of hope to see them continue down this path. Like I said, I feel like an all-star coaching staff might really be the way to go, might be the way for the Diamondbacks to spend their money at this point, if their plan is to turn to their farm system, for these positional needs and to try to develop some of these younger guys that are already, on the 40-man roster.
I don't know if it's necessarily like them spending their money in one place as opposed to another.
I know. No, I know. I'm just saying, like, if they are going to spend money, I almost feel like at this point, we've looked at the free agency market. We've talked about it. There isn't a lot of help out there that can really improve this team, and they're not going to spend the money on the guys that really would.
Corey Seager, right?
Right, exactly. So it comes down to, again, if you can put in place a quality coaching staff that can get the most out of these guys, maybe that really is the way to go. It'll be great to see if that really gets the Diamondbacks over this hump right now.
I will say that coaches are very important, and probably more important than people realize. The last two great Diamondback seasons occurred on the heels of them bringing in a new manager. And I know that's not happening this year. They're not bringing in a new manager, right, but they're bringing in a whole lot of new coaches. I mean, this is about as close to a full-on turnover as you could imagine. And you look back 2017, that was Torey Lovullo's first year. You look before that, the time prior to that the Diamondbacks made the playoffs, 2011, that was Kirk Gibson's first year. So the Diamondbacks sort of have this history where significant coaching turnover has often led to immediate results. And that's not to say that that's necessarily going to happen again this year. Obviously, the Diamondbacks have a long, long way to go coming off a 110-loss season. But yeah, I mean, so far, so good on the coaching front. I love what Jeff said. He alluded to it briefly, Derek, about just his story growing up, all of the surgeries he had.
Yeah.
For those of our audience members who don't know, Jeff Banister at one point had doctors recommend to him that he have his leg amputated when he was a kid. This was far before his major league dream had been realized.
He was sophomore in high school when that happened, and it was due to bone cancer in his leg.
There you go. Yeah, he had some sort of an injury. It revealed bone cancer, and he had 7 surgeries in order to repair his leg. And unfortunately, he didn't, he was able to get by keeping his leg, but it was not without quite a bit of heartache on his end going through all of that.
He's faced a lot of adversity.
He's faced a lot of adversity. And then in junior college, he had another disastrous issue when he was catching, and he had a runner fly in at the plate, and there was another major injury there to his neck, and he was paralyzed for it took him a long time to even be able to walk with a walker. I think it was like 4 months or something before he was able to do that. So crazy. So just to give our audience an idea of where this guy has been, what he's been through, the Diamondbacks are going through some adversity right now, Derek, and Jeff has been there and done that, and I think they're in good hands.
You're right, because it's not just his 29 years with the Pittsburgh Pirates organization that makes him qualified and gives him the experience. It's that life experience, and you can hear it in him, right? You can hear it in our discussion. You can hear it in the stories that he tells, and just the way that he, kind of appreciates this game on a different level. And we talked about it when he got hired, but let's take a look again at Jeff's stats, because he really does have some incredible stats. I mean, he led the Rangers after taking over with no managerial experience prior to that. In 2015, he led them to 2 AL West division titles, was named the AL Manager of the Year the first year that he led the Rangers, being the first American League manager to ever win the award with no prior managerial experience. And again, we talked about the 29 years, and Jesse, you asked him about the player of development for the University of Colorado's baseball program. All of that to me is very exciting, because everything there is all of the experience that I want to see from someone who's going to be the bench coach for Torey Lovullo, right? The main focus there being that his expertise seems to be that he develops players. and that's the biggest thing that this team needs is player development. I think the second thing that this team needs is Torey Lovullo having someone to be his co-counsel. I've thought that for a while. I think that at times Torey Lovullo had, the prior bench coach didn't have the kind of experience that, Lovullo could rely on to literally go to someone like he can with Banister and ask him his opinion and value that opinion because of his experiences as a manager himself. So I don't know. I'm very excited about that. And Jesse, you know what? Let's just do this. It's, what today is, right? You know what today is.
I know what today is. Everyone knows
20 years ago today, Jesse. 20 years ago today. You want to get excited about Arizona Diamondbacks baseball? Let's get excited. Let's do it. What is today, Jesse?
Today is the 20th anniversary of the Diamondbacks defeating the New York Yankees in the 2001 World Series.
That's right. With this single from the one and only Luis Gonzalez.
The chance of a lifetime for Luis Gonzalez. 2-2, bottom of the ninth. Game 7 of the World Series. Bases loaded. Forward, center field. The Diamondbacks are world champions.
Put that on a permanent loop for me. Just put that on a loop. I'm going to watch it the rest of the night. What a moment. What a moment.
What a moment.
I know you were
the most optimistic show we've had in weeks.
I know. What is going on?
We're so happy today, Derek.
I don't understand what is happening at all. I don't know what to say. All I can say is that, I blame Jeff. I blame Jeff Banister. He's the one that got me feeling very positive about this entire situation. And I'll tell you what, I'm excited. I'm excited to see who they hire going forward. And I'm excited, just to see how this entire thing develops. I'm very big on some of the young guys that we've had, that we talked about. Alec Thomas, some of the youngsters that are prospects that we should see this year. It's going to be great to see this team rise up from here. Like we said, we've hit rock bottom, right? I mean, I can't imagine it going worse. And at this point, I feel like the best thing that they can do is be realistic. I don't even think they were realistic before the season started about how bad things could be. I had my suspicions, though. My biggest concern before this season started was how their lack of depth. And that, in the end, that really became their biggest problem, their lack of depth and injuries.
Well, they just signed
other.
They just signed Chris Davinsky to a minor league contract. So
hey, there we go.
And slowly but surely,
as you tweeted about, they have decided to move on from Cole Calhoun and not extend the option, which we thought was going to happen, especially with it was a $9 million option.
Yep. Yeah. Same with Tyler Clippard. They also declined his option, and they also they exercised the option for Merrill Kelly, which of course is also expected.
Good to hear.
Had a great season. Yeah.
Fantastic. And you can definitely get more of that information on gophnx.com. We'll have some articles up about that, as well as some more articles about the coaching staff, the decisions that are made, and all of the news that happens with the Arizona Diamondbacks this offseason. Go become a member over at gophnx.com. You can either get an annual membership, which will get you a free t-shirt over at the phnxlocker.com. I know I'm probably not supposed to tell you this, but if you go over to the Coyotes and Suns, you might get something extra even going there. But go over and get a membership. Annual membership is around $60. You'll get the free t-shirt. If you go with a month-to-month option, you'll get your first month for just 50 cents. And we hope you do. We call you guys members because you're members of the family. And we're trying to grow this thing. So please join us over here. You can join our Discord and talk about baseball with us. Give us your thoughts on these Arizona Diamondbacks hirings and everything that's happening with this team. Are you excited? Are you still pessimistic? What's going on? So let us know how you feel. And also go over to Draftkings Sportsbook and use our code of PHNX. For $5 on any NFL team, you'll get $200 in free bets as long as that team that you bet your $5 on wins their game. I'm also going to give you our DraftKings pick of the week. I think though it's pick of the week time, Jesse. Baseball's over. I don't know what to tell you. I'm kind of sad about it, and I don't really know what to bet on anymore. But
I'm picking against the Coyotes again, Derek. Is that the move?
Jesse, I am always picking against the Coyotes. It's the smart bet to do. I think I've only lost once.
Oh, wait, we have Leah producing for us today.
Yeah, she's not supposed to know. Shut up, Jesse. Yeah. You idiot. You're going to tell her she's going to know. She's going to tell Petey, and then Petey's going to come back and want his cut because he's the one that told me to bet against them. You're complicating the situation for me substantially. All right, so my lock of the week actually is the Miami Dolphins over the Houston Texans. I do not believe in the Houston Texans at all, and the Miami Dolphins are a 5.5-point favorite. I also, believe it or not, I like the Buffalo Bills over the Jaguars, even though the spread is 14.5. It's the Jaguars, and again,
but
it is. But you know, when the Cardinals were really on a roll, I kind of hesitated on that spread against the Texans, and they blew it out of the water. So I have a feeling that the Buffalo Bills, that are on a little bit of a roll themselves, will probably steamroll the Jacksonville Jaguars. So there you go. There's your DraftKings pick of the week. Jesse, I know you can't do this, and I'm sorry, but we'll get you back here soon enough. Well, I promise, And then you can be here. We'll go watch Jeff, manage games with Tori. It's going to be a fun time. I'm excited to see this team play next year. So, hey, at least there's that. There's hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and it's a superior coaching staff. So I'm excited to watch this team. I know Jesse is. Jesse, what else you got? You got anything else coming up on gophnx.com?
Oh, I will. Yes. We're going to be actually starting to jump in and embrace all the questions about what should the Diamondbacks do over the offseason. What free agents should they look at? We've gotten these questions for a long time, and we're a little bit scared to answer it because it's like,
because he's said no. Mike Hazen has just flat out said no. He's made it sound. I don't believe that's going to be the case. I think they're still going to acquire some free agents in this offseason. I feel like with Bannister's philosophy about combining veterans with, the young players and having the veterans be a part of their maturation and having the veterans be a part of, them becoming the next superstars for this team. I can't see them not going after veterans, kind of like what they did with 1-year deals this year, which I don't hate that at all.
Absolutely will. Yeah. There's going to be, I think they're going to get a third baseman. They don't really have a viable everyday third baseman as of right now. So, but yeah, it could be. I mean, not likely, I wouldn't say, but you certainly never know. One thing I do want to bring up, Escobar. Yeah. One thing I do want to bring up real quick before we finish the show, back to Jeff Banister. There's a connection here that I think it's important we point out. Jeff Banister, of course, as we've talked about, spent 29 years in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization, both as a player and then eventually for a long time a coach in a number of capacities, served a number of different roles there. But in one of his final positions working alongside Clint Hurdle with the Pirates, that was also under the regime of one Mike Fitzgerald, who is currently the Arizona Diamondbacks director of, or I think vice president of research and development is his official title. So basically Mike Fitzgerald right now is the Diamondbacks, one of their sabermetric guru type people, right? He has been well known in the industry for a while, primarily for his work with the Pittsburgh Pirates, working alongside Jeff Banister. And what Mike Fitzgerald was known for was like traveling with the team, which is something that you don't have a lot of analytics guys do, right? They kind of sit in the office upstairs and relay their message. Doesn't seem like a necessity to travel with the team. Yeah. But there's a great article from about 7 years ago from when Mike Fitzgerald was with the Pirates and talking about all of the things that he was doing there. And it talks about him having frequent conversations with Jeff Banister as one of the coaches at the time in Pittsburgh. So I think it's an interesting connection how Mike Fitzgerald is now with the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks bring Jeff Banister aboard. We obviously know Jeff Banister is going to be receptive to some of those ideas. And also he's going to be familiar with a guy in Mike Fitzgerald who's been really good historically at relating to players and making sure that these messages are delivered in a way that they can understand, that isn't going to be overbearing for them. So we've talked a lot, Derek, about how the Diamondbacks have maybe had issues giving too much information at times. And I think this is probably a good move in the right direction with both Jeff Banister and Mike Fitzgerald. They've worked together doing this in Pittsburgh, and I think there's a good chance that will continue in a positive way here.
Remember when the Diamondbacks were feuding with the Pirates, Jesse?
I do remember that.
What better way to get back at them than single white femaling them? They're single white femaling them. They're adopting their identity. They're becoming them, and they're going to mimic their success. And I can't wait for it. You can get.
I don't know if the
Twitter.
Pirates are an organization you want to mimic in that.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Well, no, mimic right before they got rid of all their good players. Right before, And I guess maybe add a little more success to it. I don't know where I'm going with this anymore. It's kind of a bad idea. But anyway, thank you guys all for watching. You can get me on Twitter with more insane ideas like this. I am at @cap_caveman with a K. You can get Jesse for more reasonable ideas, and he is at Jesse N. Friedman. Our Twitter account is at PHNX D-backs. But of course, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports, and that is on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you're watching us right now on YouTube, please subscribe here and sign up for notifications for all of our shows. And also go over to your favorite podcasting app and subscribe there, as well as leave us a 5-star review if you can. Again, even if you don't think I'm a 5-star man, Jesse is definitely a 5-star man. You can also, if you're listening to us on a podcast app, subscribe over at YouTube, and that's at PHNX Sports. We thank you guys again so much. On behalf of Jesse and myself, we appreciate you watching and listening. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's more fun when you bet on it.